Two players, same natural ability, same amount of practice time. After 2 years, one plateaus while the other advances to elite levels. This scenario plays out constantly in football academies worldwide. What separates those who reach their potential from those who stall? The answer lies in a systematic approach to development that most players never discover. Today, we're breaking down the exact blueprint that produces fearless, creative players like Lamine Yamal, and how any serious player can apply these same principles to transform their game regardless of their starting point. 1. Master the fundamentals through deliberate practice. Most players waste countless hours practicing the wrong way. They focus on flashy skills that look impressive on Instagram but rarely translate to match performance. Meanwhile, elite academies build players from the ground up through what coaches call the touch triangle: first touch, passing, and shooting. These three fundamentals account for roughly 80% of what matters in actual matches. Your first touch is the foundation everything else builds upon. A precise first touch creates time and space. A poor one instantly puts you under pressure. At La Masia, Barcelona's famous academy, where Lamine Yamal developed, players spend up to 40% of technical training just on first touch variations, the decision making rather than power. Professional academies emphasize passing with purpose, understanding exactly why you're making each pass. Is it to advance position, to draw defenders, to create space elsewhere? Every pass should have intention behind it. Shooting technique, similarly, demands a quality-first approach. Notice how the best finishers rarely seem to strike the ball with maximum power. They focus on clean contact and placement. Study how clinical finishers use different techniques based on the situation. Side foot for precision, laces for power, outside of foot for curl. What separates deliberate practice from mindless repetition is the feedback loop. After each repetition, elite players ask themselves, what worked, what didn't, what adjustment will I make next time? This constant self-evaluation accelerates improvement dramatically. Don't just go through motions, engage your brain with every touch. 2. Develop football IQ through strategic watching. There's a profound difference between watching football for entertainment versus education. When you watch as a fan, you follow the ball. When you watch as a student, you study everything else. The most effective viewing technique is position-specific analysis. Choose a single player in your position and follow them exclusively for 10 to 15 minute stretches, even when they don't have the ball. Notice their positioning, movement patterns, decision-making, and spatial awareness. This focused observation develops pattern recognition that transfers directly to your own game. 3 professional analysis channels worth following are Tifo Football, Football Made Simple, and The Coach's Voice. These platforms break down tactical concepts in accessible ways that amateur players can immediately apply. Top academy players accelerate their learning through the notebook method. Keep a dedicated football journal where you diagram interesting plays, note tactical observations, and record questions for your coaches. Barcelona's academy famously has players review their own match footage and make notes on decision-making moments. A practice Yamal continues to this day. The key is learning to identify patterns that casual viewers miss. Where do top players position themselves during build-up play? How do they create space before receiving the ball? When do they choose to dribble versus pass? Train your eye to see these details, and your own football intelligence will grow exponentially even when you're away from the pitch. 3. Maximize real game experience. Scientific research confirms what great coaches have always known. Nothing accelerates development like actual match play. A study of European academies found that players with more competitive game minutes develop tactical awareness 2 to 3 times faster than those focusing primarily on isolated drills. Finding regular games is crucial regardless of your current level. Look for local leagues, organized pickup games through apps like Meetup or Footy Addicts, or even start regular games with friends. The key is consistency. 2 to 3 games weekly provides the repetition needed for rapid improvement. Lamine state occurs naturally when you're challenged just beyond your comfort level. Seek games with players slightly better than you to induce this productive discomfort. Making mistakes in games isn't just acceptable, it's essential. Barcelona's coaches specifically encourage young players to attempt difficult skills in game situations, knowing that failed attempts provide critical learning opportunities. Yamal's fearless dribbling style developed precisely because he was given freedom to fail and learn rather than being punished for creative risks. Small-sided games, 3v3, 4v4, 5v5, offer particularly concentrated development. With fewer players, you get more touches, more decisions, and more learning opportunities per minute. Yamal frequently participates in small-sided training games that emphasize creativity and quick decision-making, an approach that directly translates to his confident play in full matches. 4. Identify and leverage your unique playing style. Professional scouts don't look for perfect players. They look for distinctive ones with standout qualities. Understanding your natural strengths is the foundation of accelerated development. Top academies use comprehensive strength assessment techniques to identify each player's natural advantages. Evaluate yourself honestly across multiple dimensions: technical, dribbling, passing, shooting, physical, speed, strength, stamina, tactical, positioning, decision-making, and mental, confidence, focus, resilience. Which areas come most naturally to you? Focusing on your natural talents rather than trying to be well-rounded is counter. Developing your signature move gives opponents something specific to fear. Study how Yamal consistently attacks defenders on their outside shoulder before cutting inside. A straightforward move executed with such precision that defenders struggle to stop it despite knowing it's coming. Your own signature move might be a perfectly timed overlapping run, an unexpected change of direction, or a particular type of finish. The success stories of players like Jamie Vardy, lightning counterattack speed, Olivier Giroud, aerial dominance, or N'Golo Kanté, interception ability, demonstrate how specialists often outperform generalists. Each built their career by maximizing specific natural advantages rather than trying to correct every weakness. When addressing weaknesses, focus only on those that directly impact your effectiveness in your preferred position and style. A creative number 10 needs adequate defensive awareness, but needn't become a tackling specialist. A defensive midfielder must have basic passing ability, but doesn't need elite dribbling skills. This counterintuitive approach, knowing which weaknesses to fix and which to simply manage, accelerates development dramatically. Fifth, physical development blueprint. Physical preparation is where many ambitious players waste energy on generic fitness rather than football-specific development. The most effective fitness routine for footballers centers around three key elements: cardiovascular endurance for sustained performance, explosive power for sprints and jumps, and functional strength for duos and stability. Elite academies typically dedicate 2 to 3 sessions weekly to these components, each lasting 45 to 60 minutes. Position-specific physical training recognizes that different roles have different demands. Wingers like Yamal focus on repeated sprint ability and change of direction. Central defenders emphasize strength and jumping power. Midfielders develop exceptional aerobic capacity for covering large distances. Tailor your physical work to your positional requirements rather than following generic programs. Nutrition fundamentals for footballers are straightforward but non-negotiable. Prioritize carbohydrates for fuel, especially before matches and training. Protein for recovery, 1.6 to 2 grams per kilogram of body weight daily, and consistent hydration. Monitoring urine color is a simple, effective method. Meal timing matters too. Consume carbohydrates 2 to 3 hours before activity and protein within 30 minutes after for optimal recovery. Recovery techniques that prevent injuries have evolved dramatically in recent years. Beyond basic stretching, elite players use contrast therapy, alternating hot and cold exposure, compression garments during travel, and structured sleep hygiene protocols. The most underrated recovery method remains quality sleep. Aim for 8 to 10 hours nightly with consistent sleep and wake times. Training for explosive speed versus endurance depends on your specific needs. Acceleration, 0 to 10 meters, improves through plyometric training like jump squats and bounding exercises. Maximum speed, flying sprints, develops through proper sprint mechanics and targeted gym work. Endurance comes from carefully programmed interval training that mimics the stop-start nature of matches rather than continuous running. 6. Master the mental game. The psychological component of football separates good players from great ones, yet receives the least attention in typical development programs. Visualization techniques used by World Cup winners involve more than just positive thinking. Before critical matches, elite players mentally rehearse specific scenarios in vivid detail: how they'll receive the ball under pressure, execute difficult skills, and respond to setbacks. Spend 5 to 10 minutes daily visualizing successful performance with all senses engaged. See the movements, hear the stadium, Feel the ball contact. Yamal's fearless approach against established defenders isn't accidental. He maintains composure through a combination of preparation and perspective, understanding that football's greatest risk isn't failure, but hesitation. In interviews, he's mentioned focusing on the opportunity rather than the potential for criticism. This mindset can be developed through gradually increasing challenge levels in training and embracing moments of productive discomfort. Pre-game rituals build confidence through familiarity. Study how consistent top players' preparation routines are. The same warm-up exercises, the same mental reset points, the same equipment checks. Develop your own consistent ritual that centers your focus regardless of external circumstances. The reset button technique used by elite performers allows them to bounce back instantly from mistakes. When errors occur, have a physical trigger, like clapping your hands once or taking a deep breath, that signals your mind to refocus on the present moment. This prevents one mistake from cascading into a poor overall performance. Building resilience happens through intentional exposure to pressure. In training, create consequence-based scenarios. Penalty shootouts, where the losing team does extra conditioning. Skill challenges with specific targets, or small-sided games with evolving rules that increase difficulty. These manufactured pressure situations develop the psychological muscles needed for real match stress. 7. Conclusion. The implementation plan. Set realistic timelines for improvement. Technical skills typically show noticeable advancement in 4 to 6 weeks of consistent practice. Physical attributes may take 8 to 12 weeks to demonstrate significant change. Tactical understanding develops continuously but usually shows clear improvement after 15 to 20 competitive matches. Finding the right mentors and training partners might be the most underrated accelerator of development. Seek players slightly better than you who push your limits. Find coaches who understand your specific goals and learning style. Create a small group committed to mutual improvement through shared sessions and constructive feedback. Finally, remember that persistence trumps talent in the long run. Every elite player, including young phenoms like Yamal, faced moments of doubt and plateaus in their development. The difference wasn't natural ability, but unwavering commitment to the process. Your development journey will have highs and lows. Embrace both as necessary parts of growth. The blueprint is clear, the methods are proven. The only question remaining is, are you ready to commit to the systematic approach that transforms potential into performance? The gap between where you are and where you could be is smaller than you think, but only if you're willing to follow the path that most players never discover. No more excuses, your transformation starts today.